Hello, friends, and welcome to the latest episode of All New Snap Judgments. As always, I'm Roy Rogers, and joining me today is my friend and yours, each and every week, Aaron Glazer. Aaron, my friend, how are you on this wonderfully, formerly rainy, but now dry day?
I was formerly wet, but now I'm dry, so it's been a day.
It has been a day, my friend, but luckily we have some very special guests to make this day much less of a day. So, Aaron, who is joining us this evening or day or whatever time our loyal listeners and loyal viewers are watching this episode?
So first, we are joined by the first Marvel Snap player I will ever meet in person that I didn't know before I started playing this game. It is New York's own Parry Manilow. How you doing, Parry?
Hello, Glazer. Hello, Roy. Hello, our other guest who has not yet been named. I was previously dry, but now I am wet because I'm here ready to get into this convo with you guys.
Awesome. And how could our friends find you? Because they will come find you now. So
Nice and easy. I keep it simple across all platforms. Just Parry Manilow. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok. Parry Manilow.
awesome. We are also joined by, and I'm just going to be blunt, my single favorite stream in Marvel Snap right now. It's Justry.
So happy to be here. I'm sorry you can't see my facial expressions. I mean, you can. In the podcast, they can't. I feel like they make half of my conversation, so I'm sorry for that.
Fair enough. How could our friends find you on the random socials?
So I'm pretty much just I'm on Twitter and Twitch as its_just_re. Those are pretty much the only places I hang out besides my Discord. That's where you can find me.
Awesome, awesome. Just to be clear, loyal listeners and loyal viewers, Re is spelled R-I-E,
Oh, yeah.
just in case. Just to make sure that you go on there and follow our awesome guest here. So I also want to remind our loyal listeners and loyal viewers where you can engage with us on social media. We are at long day. At SnapJudgeCast on Twitter, X, Y, Z, not Blue Sky, but something that whatever Elon Musk is calling it currently. We are also unbelievably grateful and happy to be the official podcasting partner of Marvel Snap Zone. And so please, please, please show your support, not just for this show, but for the awesome, badass content each and every day that content creators like Aaron, like Lauren Whatevers, and many other guests that like Safety Blade that we have had on this show and will have on in the future. Support their content, support Marvel Snap Zone, and join the best large Discord in all of Marvel Snap by clicking the link in the description of this episode, either, below on YouTube or on your friendly neighborhood podcatcher. Our email is snapjudgmentspodcast@gmail.com, which thankfully I don't read, but Aaron will attempt to find your messages through all the kick spam that endlessly goes through there. And we have two final pieces of social media that it is very important that you follow us. If you are watching this, you've already found it, so you should click like and subscribe. But if you're listening to it on your friendly neighborhood podcatcher, you should follow us on or like and subscribe, whatever the discourse is for YouTube. Our YouTube at Snap Judgments Pod, where each and every day, except for Saturdays when this episode goes up, is Glazer's Daily Snap Takes. Aaron, if our loyal listeners were to become our loyal viewers, what would they find on the YouTube now?
So just so you know, we're about 15-ish subs as of recording from 10,000. So when we actually hit 10,000, what you will find is my tears. I am literally going to cry on video as I try and talk about that.
It is pretty amazing. The YouTube's been only around for about a year. And it's pretty awesome that Aaron was able to accomplish all of that with, of course, the support of our loyal listeners and loyal viewers. What's wrong, Aaron? Nothing has happened, friends.
Sorry. Everything froze on my end and I got so scared. Sorry, guys.
I thought you hit it for a second. I thought we were about to get the tears right now.
I thought we were about to get the tears right now or something worse happened. Oh, it's been that kind of day. But real quick, if you would like to support the content that Glazer creates each and every day, you should support us on Patreon. Our Patreon is Snap Judgments or patreon.com/snapjudgments. You can join the future seasons of the Snap Judgments League, which there will be more details about soon. And of course, unlike some Patreons, we are a reverse pyramid scheme where Glazer takes the money that you use to support him and gives it right back to you in a variety of forms of tournaments, extra content, all kinds of nonsense on the Patreon. So if you subscribe, you get a huge amount of bang for your buck. But that is enough about socials. Let's talk about the last season. So we'll start with Ree. Ree, we had Hope Summers, we had Pixie, we had Mockingbird, we had Cannonball, we had War Machine. General thoughts about the last season's cards. And you can talk about any of these cards, some of these cards, none of these cards, whatever floats your boat, my friend.
Please talk about actually some of these cards. I don't. None is. Don't do that one.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, obviously, I think Hope was the biggest card out of last season because Energy Cheat is always good in Marvel Snap. Like even if it's not like even right when people were down on Ravonna when she first came out, we all knew she's going to be good eventually, and now she is. Now I like. Every deck I build, I put a mini Ravonna package in just to see, see if it fits, see if it, just see how it looks. So, and Hope's like that. Hope just goes in every deck because it's like, yeah, but I mean, not every deck. Here's what Hope did for me though, was there's the Surfer Angel deck that I really loved. And, but the awkward thing about, so the idea of the Angel Surfer deck is to make yourself a big juicy. Are we allowed to swear in this podcast? Should I watch my language?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, a big.
This ends up on our channel.
Okay, I didn't ask the last podcast I was on until halfway through, and I was like, oh,
he was like, no, please.
Yeah, I was just So this time, anyway. So you make a big juicy angel with like Nakia and Okoye that's going to fly out of your hand or deck when you play Killmonger in the last turn, as one usually does in a Surfer, and hopefully murdering a Nova and a Shard along with it. And the problem with Deken and a lot of in Surfer decks is finding that extra energy to play out the Shard or Nova, right? Because like if you're on turn 6 and you have a Sarah, you have 3, you're playing 3 cost, or you're playing 2 if you didn't get Sarah, and it's always awkward. So Hope, right? Hope gives you that one extra energy you need, and she pushed that deck into being like something where I multiple times won against like Hellas. Like in Power, I won against Hellas that went off with Infinauts and everything. Like you can just put that much power out there with an unstopped Surfer madness with Hope. So she's the best. I think she's a little overhyped in that if you're not playing enough cards to get a lot of extra energy out of her. I mean, I think a lot where she's kind of settled, right, is a lot of people are using her to get 2 6 costs, right? Like load up your deck with 6 costs, and now you can play one in turn 5 and turn 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mockingbird for me was my other big card that I really like. Because I'm too much of a Snap hipster to play Thanos while Thanos is big. I just got him his last spotlight, and I'm still like, too much Thanos. And now everyone's saying like Thanos is dead, so I'm like, Thanos is looking kind of cool. And get an infinite ticket with Thanos this season because he did. So I tried to play Mockingbird with some like Super Scroll Patriot like madness. That worked pretty well for me until I took Super Scroll out and put Shang in. Scroll was what was needed there. So, and that's, I guess I went on quite length for Hope. I'll let someone else.
Hope is definitely worth it. I completely agree. And also, your Surfer list was the only list. Fun. First of all, it was super fun. Even when it wasn't the Avengers vs. X-Men event, which I don't think your deck benefited from too much anyway, because I think you didn't have 4 X-Men in it.
I totally ignored that event. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, and it looked like it was something that would work during it, but regardless, it was still slapping even after the event was over. And I got 3 Infinity tickets with that list, and I think I only got one other one without it. So it did work for me last season. But Hope is absolutely... I think what Hope did was help people realize that Surfer's kind of viable. I think there were 3 different Surfer lists that kind of repopularized or came to popularity last season because of Hope. Yours was certainly one of them, Ree. Obviously, towards the end of last season, the Toxic Surfer list rose to prominence. And
Gregor.
I also... Yes, Gregor's excellent Toxic Surfer list. Very toxic, but a lot of fun to play. And of course, there was another discard package getting put into Surfer list with Sif, with Swordmaster, and with Proxima that I had a lot of fun and success with last year as well. So I think Hope kind of revitalized Surfer in a sense, even though she's not in all of those lists. Just the fact that people were starting to think about Surfer again as being a viable list, I think was a nice addition to last season. Totally agree with you about Mockingbird and Thanos. I'm also a bit of a Snap hipster. I did not play any Thanos while he was top of the meta, because who wants to watch someone stream that, right? There are plenty of other places you can go to watch people playing that deck better than I can, so why am I going to bother?
His name is Lambie.
Yeah, that's one of them, for sure. So why bother playing top of the meta? I'm all about trying to find those spicy new brews that offer some different play lines and different fun.
He says that, but he's a dirty discard player.
Look, man, it's not my fault that discard just so happened to finally get good, all right? I was out here in the trenches when Chavez got nerfed and we were all in shambles and we were trying to find the next discard list, okay? I've been out here since the beginning.
That was so devastating.
I featured his list.
I had like
Many
a comfort
times.
deck that had like it was discard, it was standard discard, but it had the like Storm Nebula Jeff package, but it had to have like Dracula and Chavez, and yeah. We were so many of us left by the wayside, torn asunder, like mourning Chavez. Still
a long time.
History.
Worst hit Marvel Snap history.
Honestly, one of the least favorite changes I've seen in this game. Like, it was just one of those nerfs that nobody asked for, too. That's the worst part, but we don't have to talk about that now.
Second Dinner asked for it because they wanted more money, and they were like, but we can't sell new cards because every deck runs this stupid card.
Yep, that's probably
that we gave you in Series 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dirty truth behind it.
You can't call discard players dirty. You're dirty.
Sure I can. I can be wrong. I can totally do it.
But like when you're if you're in ladder and you're gonna see some like bling, you're gonna see some bling on ladder. It's gonna be destroy or discard, right? It's gonna be all ink, all gold. And that's classy as hell. So I don't know who you calling dirty.
So
when you run into the memers like me, you get that mix of like some base cards that have never seen play. That's what I call it, leaving cards on red when I don't upgrade them from base. Like I have like 300 boosters or something on Corvus Glaive now. I'm just like, nah.
Oh, I won't. Yeah,
never. Screw you. Like, you've discarded too many Sifs and statures, Corvus. Like.
And Hellas.
Sorry, I'm trying so hard.
So many Hellas.
Swear incessantly.
So
okay.
You can definitely swear. We're at the 15-minute mark.
Well, we're also like this is on my channel, not the Marvel Snap Zone one. So if like they randomly demonetize a video, it's on my head. I'm not like costing other people money. So who fucking cares?
I'm just streaming. No, like, that's how I do stuff.
Say what you want. I have a big discard take, but we're gonna save it for OTA stuff.
All right, I'm sorry for derailing us.
Oh,
not derail.
This is totally on topic.
We didn't talk about War Machine, Pixie, or Cannonball at all, by the way.
No one has yet. Roy, want to talk about one of those cards?
You go ahead, Glazer.
I want to talk about Cannonball. I love Cannonball. Cannonball is like one of my 5 favorite cards in Snap right now. The only thing I like more than good cards is being right. And I called Cannonball and everyone was like, meme card. And I was like, but I love it. It's gotta be good. It's gonna be good. So I nailed Cannonball. I play it in decks that it has no business being in at this point. It's like the most fun card. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. I don't really care. It does things, and most of the other cards this month just sort of like, once they've come out, they're done doing things. Barring
that is
Machine.
That is a great way to look at it. And Cannonball, I think, is the FOMO card now. I think there is always one of those cards that people just pass on. It used to be Legion. It used to be
Gladiator.
Gladiator was another one, yep, where maybe it doesn't seem the strongest on launch, but goddamn, you're going to be missing it when it's used against you. When you lose those 8 cubes to that random cannonball popping out.
It's so hard to plan around. You're just like, all right, I'm right under that Chung. Nothing's going to get me now.
Yep. Nobody
Boom,
ever
you're a rock.
expects it.
I
That's
gotta
the
play more
best effect.
Cannonball.
It's so fun.
I picked
best
him up.
ability
I
and
think
snap.
I was gonna skip him, but was that the one with the kitty variant? The kitty in the rain variant?
Yes, the
Yeah,
must-have kitty
was skipping
variant. Yes.
it, and then I was just like, "Oh, I didn't even realize they must have changed it or something." And I was like, "Oh, we open it."
They did. It was a
Oh,
shitty
my
kitty variant. It's the one where
kitty
she's like
was
popping
kitty.
through Xavier's.
Yes, through the
Yeah.
sign, and then they
And
swapped it out for like the best variant in the game.
Yup.
All right,
Mistakes
I
were made.
just have to sit in dreamy remembrance of staring at that variant for the
You
first time.
can't see my face. You're just like, kitty.
Mm.
Pixie is like way more average, but way more fun than I thought she'd be. I said everywhere, and like this is the me being wrong, so this is why I don't love Pixie, but I like Pixie. I said
Really?
everywhere that
So
Pixie
you
would
said
either
that
be
she was really average and fun, like
No,
right after
she-
each
I
other
think-
in the same
average
sentence.
is fun. You don't have to be like good to be fun in Marvel Snap.
Definitely not.
So I thought she was going to be amazing, either like completely broken and amazing or completely garbage, and she is not completely broken and amazing, and she's not completely garbage. She's a like C tier average ass card, but she's a really fun C tier average ass card, and like just randomly she goes in some decks. Like, why does she go in those decks? Because they're more fun with her. Honestly, you could probably replace her with like 8,000 cards, right? Like, you pick a 2-drop in Marvel Snap, like throw a dart, and you're probably okay as long as you don't hit one of the specific archetype ones. You can replace Pixie. But that said, she is super duper fun because like sometimes you draw a 6-cost hood and you're just like, well, I lost this game. And sometimes you draw a 1-cost Infinite and you're just like, ooh. It's joy.
It is just pure gambling. Like, it's not as consistent as Mr. Negative, where you know exactly what cards are going to be what.
I love that. It's just like not as consistent as the other
as
most
that
gambling
one.
card in Marvel Snap.
But like, you're gambling that you draw Mr. Negative at that point. Whereas with Pixie,
you're gambling that you draw in the right order before Mr. Negative.
Exactly. When you have your Iron Man, your Zola, and your Null all in your hand, and then you draw Mr. Negative, feels pretty bad. But
every time I play Mr. Negative.
Basically. But it feels very different when you just don't know what's coming next. But more importantly, your opponent has no idea what to expect either. I know that I do a whole lot of retreating against Pixie, the rare times I do see her, because I'm just like, nope, don't want to deal with this. I don't know where this is going after they snap. I don't want any business dealing with this Pixie nonsense. So she does have that effect that you just don't want to deal with it.
I always stay against Pixie bullshit. It's too silly. Like, I need to see what's going to happen.
I wish they would change that you actually get to see what the cards cost when they play. Because
you don't, but when they suddenly dropped Infinite, She-Hulk, and like something else that turn, I'm like, some of these are different.
Yeah. They should show you what they are, though, just so you have an idea, especially like floating energy now with Red Hulk and just having to know those things. I feel like now that you have
Negative shows you, right, what your opponent paid.
Yes, Mr. Negative. I mean, the cards are swapped,
just literally swapped on the board.
Yeah.
So it's weird that Pixie doesn't do that either, though.
Yeah,
but friends, at the beginning of this segment, I said you could pick any, some, or none of these cards to talk about, and so I'm going to pick none of them. And so we're going to move on to the next slide here, the Glazer has. So started with Ree before, so I'll throw you to this to you, Parry. Excuse me. What else from the past season would you like to discuss? How'd it go for you? Highlights, lowlights.
Last season hit Infinite, no big deal. That's kind of standard practice for someone of my caliber, you know. But I did not get any borders last season. That was a little upsetting. I try to get at least one every season, so I'm going to have to get 2 to make up for it this season. Highlights, I enjoyed participating in Snap Judgments League. Hey. I went 2-1, unfortunately. And that one wound up being a lot more important than I thought it was going to be because
We're
you
fixing
can't
that
really
next
afford
season.
to lose.
We're fixing that next season. Next
Good to
season,
know.
each pod will have a cut.
Nice, cool. So, but that was fun. I enjoyed the matches I had, and it was nice to have kind of a place to sweat it out a little bit. And I think there is going to be a lot more room for that to grow going forward. So, looking forward to seeing what the next seasons have in store. That's pretty much it for me as far as last season. I guess you could say my charity stream was last season, technically. It was like right at the end of last season. So that was a nice big highlight of last season, being able to raise $2,000 for Games for Love, a very wonderful organization that uses video games as distraction therapy for children who are dealing with illnesses and the like in the hospitals. So being able to see the Snap community come together for that and raise that kind of money was very heartwarming and humbling. And definitely something I'll be doing again in the future because why not be able to help out when you can, right?
Hell yeah.
Bree, your thoughts about this past season, highlights, lowlights, how'd things go for you?
So, a highlight would be, I guess, I got my first, maybe only, like, day one Infinite on stream, which is, like, a big deal for me, because I still have, like, a lot of anxiety around streaming, and I still don't play very good Snap on stream. Usually, if I'm trying to play serious Snap, I play it off stream. And, it took me time to do it, but I did it all in one sitting. I streamed for like 17 hours.
It's not a really long time, but okay.
The longest I streamed for before.
No, it's a long time to stream. It's not a long time to get Infinite.
I feel like to get Infinite it was, because I feel like I told one of my friends and they were immediately just like, that's like a really long time to get Infinite. And I'm like, I was just like gotten off of streaming for 17 hours, and I'm just like,
I would have beat up my friends. I would have been like, now we're fighting.
Let me just. Anyway, yeah. So and like the longest I'd streamed before was like 5 hours, and I have only streamed for like maybe 2 months at this point now. So it was a big feat that I did it, and I was proud of it. And then everyone else is like, "Why did you do that? That seems really unhealthy." So that's how my life goes. But that,
make
that was
choice,
cool.
succeed, get yelled at.
And not only did I do it, because I'm always stubborn. Like I have to get Infinite with my own decks, with my own decks, and I did it this time with my Moon Knight deck, and it was when Hela was still the meta. I mean, Hela's still out there, but not as strong. But this is when Hela was like the Thanos. And that's when I was like, no, I'm gonna do it with my Moon Knight deck. And I've learned, don't do that. don't play the deck whose worst matchup is the current meta. It's not fun. Just bring another deck. Because now I'm playing my Moon Knight deck again, and it's actually fun because it's not just against Hela. But I did it to, like, I don't know, prove something to myself. Well, I don't know why I do the things I do. But that was cool. I would say that was the biggest highlight. Obviously, I got to do Snap Judgment Leagues too, and I got to find all kinds of new anxieties. That was fun. Around competitive Snap. But it was really fun. I enjoy it. It's like for me, it's like I just gotta keep doing things to get better, to get less anxious at them. Losing, that was the worst I think I felt this season when I lost my first competitive match. That was something that, like,
now this is the worst I felt this season. I'm really sorry.
What? Oh, no,
this is the worst I felt. I'm really sorry.
No, I didn't mean that. I just mean, like, it's really important. I played card games a lot for a long, long time. And, like, I've always been good at them in board games. And I would say, like, it's one of the few things I'm actually pretty good at, along with programming. So it's always mattered to me to do well at it, and I just take it really hard when I don't in a setting where it matters. Because, like, I have this memory that I've held on to for a long time, and because I played Magic, of course, like everyone did. And back in the I only ever went once to one like official Magic the Gathering thing. Mostly I just played like with a small circle of my friends and stuff. And I just kind of went on a lark. And here's the hilarious intro. We're walking in. I think it was like one of my friends was going to like the anime convention. No, they weren't going to the anime convention. They were going somewhere else. So we were going to there, and we were walking through an anime convention to get to the Magic Gathering event. And my friend's like, what's going on here? Because there's all the cosplayers, right? You know, there's all the cosplayers in the anime get up.
Of course.
It's like, what's this? You know? I'm like, oh, I think it's the anime convention. And my friend was like, nerds. And I was just like, we're to the Magic the Gathering event. Like, who are you calling nerds, nerd? Anyway, right. But we got there, and this is the only time, and I was much younger than I am now, and it was a time when there weren't many women like in the scene, and the story I'm about to describe is one of the reasons why, right? So I was one of the few women I saw there. It was huge, right? It was a big event. It was everywhere. Mm-hmm. But I was playing in this, like, in a draft, a competition for a 40 card deck. And I'd never built a 40 card Magic deck before, right? So I wasn't experienced at that. I was drafting. So I just, like, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't build a very good deck. I lost, like, my first match or whatever. And the guy I was playing against, and this is embarrassing to me because when I'm bad at things, it's that like thing where now I've made all women look bad at the time, right? Now things are different. Mm-hmm. But at the time, like, it's always everywhere I've gone, right? It doesn't matter that I played a lot of card games, that I won at a lot of card games. I was always the one people felt like they needed to explain the rules to. Of all me and my friends, to be nice, right? This assumption that I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't belong there and I just entered the scene. So I was used to being kind of talked down to like that. So it's always been important to me to do well. And so I lost, and that was hard. And then the guy that I was playing, like, I wasn't just sitting across from him. Like, I didn't exist. Like, I wasn't a human being directly across from the table. Then turned to his friend and said, I must have protection against girls because I can't lose against them. And then he couldn't find his signed card. He couldn't find a signed card that he got from an artist. So he accused me of stealing it. And without asking me, came over and like went through all of my things right in front of me to make sure I hadn't stolen his card. And it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun for me. And I was alone. I don't remember why my friend wasn't there. They weren't actually going to the event or something. I didn't see them, or maybe they're just somewhere else. So I was just alone, and then like with all these guys making fun of me for losing and looking terrible and feeling like I let down all women. Like at the time, right? This is a long time ago.
They let down all men.
And it's just like so I don't know. I've always had that chip on my shoulder. Like I just need to do well, not just to prove it to myself, but like for all the times, and not just me, but other people have gotten talked down to, you know? And it's like, I move around a lot. I play late at night. I don't play sober. Like, I make a lot of stupid plays. But, like, you know, if I don't play on stream, I can get day one infinite in a couple hours, you know? I can play Snap. So, it just annoys me when I do badly. I feel like I've let down myself and everyone. But, like, I don't know. This is, like, my whole, I don't want to say gimmick as a streamer, but it's, like, that's what one of my old viewers came in and was like, you have nervous charisma. And it was just like, yeah, that's what people are here for, I guess.
I like that, nervous charisma.
Nervous Riz. There we go.
Anyway, sorry. That's why I didn't mean to make you feel bad. I'm just saying I take it.
No, it's okay.
But I do these things. I sign up for. I mean, I started streaming to begin with to help me with things. I hid for years from like all people, like in my room, and I mean, not from like I have some real life friends and stuff, but I was off of all social media. Like I didn't go out to like places. I didn't want to meet people. And so like starting streaming, doing stuff like this, doing the competitive stuff, it was a challenge myself to get over that. So like taking it really hard, my first loss was always going to happen. But I did it anyway, even though that was something I was really afraid of, you know? So it's not something to be like, don't be sad for me. It was something that I've now conquered. And then I played terribly my last match because, like, I don't know, losing broke me. But I'll get over it eventually.
New season will start fresh.
Yeah, new season, new you.
Wait, I have 2 responses to that speech. One, I hit Infinite every season. I'm pretty good at this game. And I've never hit Day 1 Infinite, and I don't know if I could do it in 17 hours. Straight up. I have no fucking idea. No interest in trying, but I have absolutely no idea. I've never hit Infinite in less than 2 or 3 days. 2, it's _just_ Rie, R-I-E. Go follow her. You know you want to.
Definitely.
Well worth a follow.
It's mostly me pausing between snap games to tell long stories from my past like that then turn into in-jokes on my stream.
Yes, it
was a powerful story either way. So I appreciate you sharing it with us and our loyal listeners and loyal viewers. But I think on that note, we are going to move on to talk about the OTA, which I believe is the next slide. Yeah, Good job, Pastor Roy. All right, so we are on a big one. I do think at the same time, this is kind of like a high level OTA where there's a lot of sort of individual changes, but there's really just a couple of big picture changes. But I'll go through the individuals real quick. Thanos has now been changed to act like Quicksilver and start in your hand, and to cost you a card. So card draw, really. And Time Stone has been reworked to be give Thanos -1 cost next turn, draw a card. Big change. Meek is now a 1/0, a small change, but still some pretty important implications. Crossbones is now literally worse call obsidian rather than figuratively worse call obsidian. And we've got Sabretooth.
That means he's 410 to anyone who didn't follow Roy logic.
All right. Sabretooth got a little strength boost to a 3/5, bringing it sort of in line with a lot of other seemingly powerful 3-cost cards. And then Angela, the Queen, taken from the world of Todd McFarlane for us by Neil Gaiman. So you can thank Neil Gaiman for this one. Angela is a 2/0 now, but after you play a card in her lane, you go down, or she gains 2 power now. So she's back to her OG text from the good old days. Parry, right? Or was Rie last or was Parry
we did
last?
Parry first last time,
Okay.
but it doesn't matter.
Oh, no, we'll go with Rie first. Rie, thoughts about this OTA?
Oh, well, we're all most excited by Angela, right? And if you're not, you're wrong. Angela's the most exciting part of this OTA. We're also, they even called out the Silky Smooth deck in the notes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that so awesome that a deck that, did Lambie name the Silky Smooth deck?
Lambie did, but I think he named it something awkwardly different, and then everyone was like, he means Silky Smooth, right? And we just all went to that.
So I don't know who could coin the term Silky Smooth.
It's Lambie. Let's
awesome.
go with Lambie. Lambie gets credit.
Okay, or his community, we should say, because I mean, we don't need the CEO culture where one person gets credit for an entire community's work.
There you go.
So Lambie's community came up with the Silky Smooth title, and I think it's so amazing that the deck name, the archetype, ended up in the official dev notes. That's cool, and that's what we're all excited for. We were all in the Discords, showing off. I had never broken apart my last. I called it Alpha Flight was my name for my Silky Smooth decks, because I like to put Captain Marvel in it, and. Sorry, it's a comic reference. Super nerd.
They need more Alpha Night. More Alpha Flight is coming soon.
Yeah,
to Snap as well.
Oh, right,
I think
right,
Sasquatch, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a bit of a stretch because I don't have all the characters, but whatever. So I pulled out, that's my oldest deck that was sitting in my 20 deck. I just never had the heart to take it apart. I loved it I love that deck. It's just so fun to play. It's just so much fun. So everyone was pulling out their old versions, sprucing them up. And then Thanos is hilarious because I've seen both sides of the coin. This is a big nerf, and they're going to do more nerfs. They're going to try and make him less versatile, right? Which is why he's just always so good with the extra cards. So that's good, but I've seen people be like, no, they're just gonna buff him. He's not, he's still the worst. Why won't they nerf him? And then other people are like, Thanos is dead, dead. So, We'll see. I think they will eventually get him to the point where he's not so versatile that you just have, you can have 5 flavors of Thanos. I guess that slowly condensed down to the single best one that everyone plays. And then for me, I think, I don't know, Sabretooth is whatever. It's exciting, but not meaningful. Meek also doesn't change. Meek is amazing. I love Meek. He was perfect. He's always perfect. They can change him to anything, and he'll still fly like a beautiful bug boy across my screen whenever I discard shit. And Crossbones is I loved Silk. I thought Silk was my first card that I bought for 5k tokens, and I was always I was in there in the early days guys, Crossbones is really great with Silk. And then everyone's like, no, that's dumb. And then 2 months later, everyone's like, hey, did you check out Crossbones with Silk? And everyone's like, no, that's still dumb. Everyone else said it. And now it's maybe. I don't know. People are playing with him now, right? With the, what
Big dumb idiots?
What brought Crossbones?
Big dumb idiots. No,
What?
we're mad at Gunny. We're not shouting Gunny out.
Is it okay. Yeah, someone, I forget what type it is, but now it's running phones all the time.
The idiots list.
Okay.
Parry?
Yeah, aside from the unwarranted nerf to Meek, I think that the OTA was good. And yes, every nerf to discard is an unwarranted nerf. It was unwarranted what they did to Apocalypse, it's unwarranted what they did to Meek, but if this is the worst I have to deal with, I can be okay with that. Obviously, Angela is the big news here. What'd you say?
It's definitely not, but we'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, the big ones are, of course, Thanos and Angela here. I kind of work in the same mindset that Ree does, and I had no interest in playing Thanos until they nerfed him, and now I'm like, hold on a second. High Evo Thanos? If he's always the starting card in your left hand, or leftmost card in your starting hand, shocker value? I start thinking about, all right, well, now that they're out of the limelight, how can I play this card differently? And that was where my head first went to. I haven't come up with anything yet, but I would like to at least test that out. And it would be cool to see lists that actually require Thanos being on the board now. I think the worst part of the Thanos lists were the fact that he was almost never getting played. And Glenn even said in the update notes that the worst performing Thanos lists are the one where he's drawn. So I feel like for an iconic villain such as Thanos, the fact that you're only using the stones and not him as a big bad card is kind of lame. And hopefully this will encourage some more creative deck building where you actually get to play Thanos out and take advantage of his ability. Hopefully, we'll see. It probably won't be, but I'm going to certainly try that route.
Right. So what I keep hearing about Thanos is he's so much worse now because you only have a 3 in 17 chance of drawing the Mind Stone. It was 4 of 18 before. That's a 4% difference.
Yep.
That 4% is not nothing, right? Over the course of a game, but we're talking about early game, right?
Having percentage arguments again about whether or not this is what got America Chavez.
Yep. I was going to say this is all Chavez.
It's a really small percent. Thanos is fine. People are going to take a little while and realize Thanos is fine, and they're like, the Time Stone is bad. The Time Stone still kept its most important text.
The draw
card. Yeah. Thanos will be completely fine. You will still basically never play Thanos. People will cry about this for a little bit before they realize that the deck that was 10 percentage points better than everything else is probably still better if it's 5 percentage points better than everything else. But we do know that another nerf is very likely to be coming on Tuesday, right? So
that is true.
As of now, whatever. I don't have any way to say this except I pay way too much attention to what Glenn does. It's a little unfair to Glenn, but I'm pretty sure Discard has been their highest performing list, not Thanos, for months now.
No.
For at least a month. That's why the Meek change, even though no one has complained at all, and that's why the Apocalypse change way before anyone complained, because I'm 80% sure internally what they're seeing is that Discard is completely freaking dominant. Also, once Thanos is gone, we have 2 decks left. We have a bunch of mid-range decks and Discard. And Loki says, no, we don't have a bunch of mid-range decks. We have Loki. And you know what Loki sucks agast?
Discard.
Beautiful.
So that's the one thing I'll give you is that
this is where we are.
Discard beats Loki.
This is where we are for that. Crossbones is going to be great.
That's what brings back Hela, right? Then we get back into the Hela Loki meta. It's not.
If Hela could get So discard beats Hella fairly conveniently. It could be the discard Hella list. It's entirely possible.
I
I
still
feel
want
like
to go back
Hella's
to
still
a meta
really
that's all
good, and no
Loki
one's
or
playing it again.
Hella. No, thank you.
Especially with Red Hulk now, I feel like you're going to start seeing Hella creep back up because, yeah, we did have the Lockjaw change, but guess what? Hella's still really good without Lockjaw. Like, there's still enough targeted discard and the point where you don't care what's getting discarded anymore. Even discarding Hella with Corvus, you have lists out there like the one with that was running Sunspot, She-Hulk, and Infinite. And now you can throw Red Hulk in there, where, yeah, you discard Hella, but guess what? You have extra energy now. You can float and play your She-Hulk and Infinite or Red Hulk out on that final turn and still beat a lot of things. So I think Hella is certainly going to see an uptick again. I think Black Knight is going to see an uptick again, especially now with this Crossbones change. You can have kind of the Black Knight's big dumb idiots.
That deck is going to be disgusting.
Yeah, and I think you're not... I mean, Destroy is still really good, guys. Destroy is still out there.
So, if the big dumb idiot style decks get better, that means a lot more armor in Cosmo.
But also, like, bets on how fast they're gonna nerf Red Hulk. Red Hulk's getting nerfed, right? How long are they gonna wait to do it? Because it's the...
I got some hot takes about Red Hulk.
First nerf for Red Hulk is 410.
It's 410?
I would bet almost anything. The first nerf to Red Hulk is going to not do the job. They're going to do that half-ass thing they do when they don't really want to nerf a card yet.
Yeah.
And they're just going to be like, but what if he's just a 410 or a 49 even, right? And then it's just going to be like, well, that didn't do it.
You think they're going to just whack his base power down without changing the plus? Yeah.
They like to change the floor, not the ceiling. They want to keep the high ceiling and whack the floor. So I would assume that that's where they go with it. I hate that strategy, but it's what they do consistently, so it is what it is.
I think they should just do it sooner, because I don't have Red Hulk, so I would please like for him to be nerfed sooner.
I played Red Hulk, but it was a Loki list, so I never played Red Hulk.
We can get to him later.
Yeah,
I have some hot takes on him.
I like Crossbones. I don't love Crossbones, but he's going to be really good. And Angela means bounce can exist. It's not going to be good. I don't really care. I don't need bounce to be good. I just need bounce to be playable, and I'm going to play 1,000 bounce decks. And Sabretooth isn't a change. We're not going to dignify that by pretending it is.
Yep.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about Thanos, because I think to me that's the most interesting change here, because Crossbones is just budget Call Obsidian now, which is really great because I was already running him as a replacement for Call Obsidian in my War Machine deck because I was like, I need a 4-drop that has a drawback and
keyword big.
Yeah, it's keyword big. Oh, and it's just Crossbones. So there we go. And now he's better. So there we go because I refused to buy Call Obsidian because it's one of the most boring cards ever made. So all right, Thanos. So I think until they rework Thanos, I think this is a nerf, unlike what Glazer said, because it's also nerf to Blob. Thanos Blob, because Thanos being in your deck and was a huge part of what made Thanos Blob additionally consistent. And I think by shrinking Blob down, you make the Thanos builds with Blob way less.
Oh my god! I'm sorry. Did they make Blob less good the instant they released a Blob that doesn't care about cards in deck?
Possibly, yeah.
That's amazing.
Difficult. It's pretty difficult. Get you to buy Red Hulks, I guess.
And Red Hulk doesn't get discarded by Silver Samurai. Discarded a lot of Blobs in my day.
I think until they show us exactly what build around Thanos is supposed to do, I do think legitimately there's other room. Glazer was right that there's room for other mid-range decks. I think what Thanos really did, particularly Thanos Blob really did, was suppress other mid-range decks. And I think now that there's this less consistent, and you got this crummy 6-card card, the power level of overall Thanos, and there's other reasons to look at mid-range decks. So I think it's a healthy change. What I think would be hilarious is if they make build around Thanos really good, and then it just is okay, instead of it being about the stones and it's the best mid-range deck, it's now the best mid-range deck that's just built around Thanos. And we'll see if that's the case. So hopefully they dodge that. But I think otherwise everybody's basically on points here. Excited that my suboptimal Crossbones substitution for Call Obsidian is better. And I do think that the Thanos nerf is a legitimate nerf for maybe just 3 days or 4 days, how many days it is until Tuesday by the time this airs. But I think this is a pretty good OTA.
I'm just going to say Crossbones is better than Cull Obsidian right now.
Heavy winning.
Yeah, I genuinely think it is.
I mean, he's better in the sense that you don't have to pay 6,000 tokens for him, and he does just about the same thing.
Yeah, you don't have to jam one's index.
Yep.
Right? Like, because a lot of Cull decks are running, like, just a few bad cards to make Cull work, and those could be, like, a Lizard now, and Lizard's usually going to get you out that Cull.
Or Silk,
Crossbones.
like Risa.
Yeah.
I
Right,
know.
yeah.
That's why Crossbones
Maybe
is better,
with
because
Angela.
it gives you more reason to play Silk.
There you go.
Hey, and I just got Silk in the Spotlight catches from last week, so maybe I should do that.
Yo.
All right, there we go, friends. All right, time to move into this season passes cards. We'll start off with the big bad himself, Baron Zemo, founder of the Thunderbolts at A+ Dancer. He is the season pass card, and he is a 3/5, like our friend Sabretooth, and he has the on reveal. Recruit the lowest cost card from your opponent's deck to your side of the location. ParryManilow, what you got for us about the Baron himself?
Can we get another card that isn't a 3 cost as a season pass card, by the way? 3rd season in a row now. Black Swan, Hope Summers, and Baron Zemo.
Well,
It's like they wanted Silver Surfer to come back.
Look 2 seasons before that.
And 2 seasons before that, we had
Shaw.
Sebastian Shaw.
It was Scar was the non-example.
Yeah, that's right. It was Scar, and then right before that was Shaw. So 4 out of the last 5 season pass cards have been 3 drops. Interesting to note.
Did Baron used to be? I'm trying to remember. Was he originally data mined at like a 2? I can't.
4/6,
3/4.
then 3/4.
Oh, right.
Okay.
4/6, then 3/4. Well, I think 3 is definitely a better home for him than 4. I think he is a fun card. I haven't had a chance to play too much with him yet, but I do like that it's at least getting around to trying to make mill a legitimate strategy in this game. That's something I've experimented with a lot over the course of this game, going back to doing quirky Yondu Grandmaster stuff, Gladiator, of course, and you're still seeing that now, but I think they have now moved it into a point with the Yondu change, with Cable, with Gladiator, with Zemo, that you're starting to have kind of a mill package that you can work around other decks with, similar to what they did with the Annihilus package, Hood, Sentry, Annihilus. It's kind of just that one little package that you can place into a bunch of these other mid-range style decks, and I like that mill kind of has this now. I think that it's a card that isn't as straightforward to play as you might think. You don't always want to play him on turn 3. And sometimes you just want to play him at the end of the game for 5 reliable power. I've had plenty of games. The one list I was using with him was a funky mill-style Mockingbird list, where you're pretty much just relying on getting value out of your cards. Gladiator being a 3/8 at the end of the game, Maximus being a 2/6 at the end of the game, Mockingbird being a potential 1/9 at the end of the game. Being able to play all of those and play all 3 lanes on the final turn, your opponent's typically not going to be able to beat you putting up that kind of power in all 3 lanes at the end of the game. And that's kind of where I started with him, compared to just like delete your hand type stuff. Just trying to get some good value. And I think Zemo does that. I don't know. I think he has a bit more flexibility than some of the other season pass cards, like a Black Swan, like a Sebastian Shaw, but definitely not on the level of a Hope Summers or a Miss Marvel or some of the Loki, of course. Seems like a solid season pass card that you can at least try in multiple archetypes and have some success with. And 3/5 is just decent stats. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, with Zemo, I think it is interesting that it's, for a season pass card, kind of the least essential card we've seen in a while for season pass card, because, like, look at the other, like, Miss Marvel, Black Swan, even, like, things like MODOK that are, like, essential for their archetype, if not in general. And Zemo's just kind of like, you know, he's not going to be essential for anything right now, maybe with some supporting cards. So that's an interesting new direction for season pass, because I felt like they'd made an effort to make the season pass cards be more crucial. So So I will agree with that. And then, I mean, that's where that's my interest in him. I obviously made the it was so funny because I was like in my stream the other day, one of my friends, I mean, everyone knows Wombat Combat, I think, here. But I love Wombat Combat's decks because we both love to build the same. We just have cards we love and we build stupid decks around them. So we think a lot alike. And they came in my stream and were like, yeah, I think with Baron Zemo, I just want to build, like Mirage, Mantis, Loki, White Queen, and I was like, hold up, hold there. And I go into my decks and I build exactly all those cards into a list with Baron Zemo. It's like, that's all we want to do with them. Just like build the steal your opponent's deck and play it, So that's what I'm just going to meme with him. I mean, and then maybe later we'll find some more interesting, weird Wong Grandmaster stupid combos to do that'll be fun. But the initial knee-jerk reaction is to finally play the deck that I tried to build when Loki came out, but just it wasn't there yet. Now we have another one of those cards. So we're back to got some nice looking cards over there. Sure would be a shame if someone were to take them from you. Play them for cheaper. Yeah. Those are my thoughts on Baron Zemo.
I think Zemo's a home run. As a season pass card. I don't like the card, and I'm not playing it a lot. But, it goes in some stuff that's already there. It fits in some, bounce and surfer bullshit, so it's got, homes. And then it creates a new archetype also, and that archetype isn't overpowered, at all.
Yeah.
Last time they tried to make a new archetype, it was Loki.
Yep.
And they successfully made a new archetype that, isn't Loki. Way to go, Second Dinner. I think I don't want to have to play 18 cards to not get the opponent's shittiest card. And everyone says the package is Yondu, Zemo, and Gladiator. Sure, but please do yourself a favor and play Gladiator before Zemo, because if you played Yondu and Zemo and then Gladiator, you're probably going to hit some with Gladiator that straight up does not care. Right? That Gladiator thing that you got, you just took out all their low stuff. So now you just said, hey, Mockingbird, thanks. So don't do that. But I don't know. I think it's a really well designed season pass card in that it's fun but not broken, and I'm really hoping that I remain right about that. Although I don't think it's going to sell for shit, so maybe they should release more Hope Summers. I don't know.
Yeah, I think this is a super cool card. I think that it's a pretty good thematic design. I think promoting alternative sort of victory conditions of sort of mill, which doesn't actually kill your opponent in this game. It just sort of stops what they're going to do. I think, though, that Baron Zemo is a far distance from being consistent enough, but I have a feeling that this recruit, I mean, they've sort of keyworded already the concept recruit. I would not be surprised if we see 1 to 2 more cards that recruit your opponent's cards in certain conditions. And if that happens, then I think Baron Zemo will end up being a problem. If Second Dinner can stay away from this sort of the temptation of exploring this space, which I somehow doubt they will, Baron Zemo could end up in a month or two being a Loki level card that people, no matter how good or bad Baron Zemo may be at a specific moment, people will always hate it. Because in every single card game that I've ever played, the number one thing people hate losing to is their own cards. And I would not be surprised if that is also true should Baron Zemo become truly meta.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, we've seen it with Loki before. Just having your opponent do what you do better than you do is just such a bad feeling. At least Zemo is just taking one card and putting it, and you're losing a board space to usually a not great card. You're very rarely stealing something super worthwhile,
But what if it's my favorite card, Parry? What if that's why I built my whole deck was about that? Then you took that from me. I wanted the experience of drawing and playing that card. Come on, bro.
I mean,
But it's so bad because Nico is so good. Because Nico is so good. I've already pulled, like, in my little bit of time of playing Baron Zemo, some Nico. It's like, great. Well, whatever I'm playing next is going to become a demon. That's fun because
Yeah.
they're playing definitely this Destroy deck doesn't have a Killmonger. They're about to play with the Deadpool out here. Or, like, because I love, like, Nico is my favorite card in the game. I'll put her in every single deck. I don't care.
She's great.
She goes in every deck for me. But, like, but drawing her with Zemo and with how good she is and how much she's played, drawing her with Zemo is such garbage because it's the whole point of Nico is to play her tools at the right moment, not randomly, not just willy-nilly chaos, So anyway, sorry. This is why I don't want to play. This is why I don't want to play Zemo. It's just like I can't have my beautiful Nico turn against me like that. We've only ever been best of friends, so.
Fair enough.
If you want to hear great Nico opinions that are very similar to Ree's there, you should subscribe to the Patreon and listen to my 100% correct opinions, reinforced by Ree there, about Nico in our exclusive video from last month, where Glazer was a hater for no reason.
Yeah, because I only had it at like number 6 of.
Glazer.
Time out.
Who hates Nico?
I had it at like number 6 of best one drops. 1 and 2. Was Nico anyone's favorite? Wait, who here was Nico the most played card for last season? Oh, right, this guy. Oh, and you?
Also,
right,
me. In my season pass, Nico was my most played card.
Me too.
Let's move on to our other current meta terror.
Can we just all vomit? Can we just all vomit on ourselves and go to the next card?
I mean, if you want to do that, you can do that. That is completely fair.
I have opinions here.
We have 6 cost, 11 strength, 6k token Series 5 card. When your opponent ends a turn with unspent energy, plus 4 power if in hand or in play. Ree, what you got for us?
Okay, I get that he's really good. I get that he's the biggest 6 cost, like so big. But that's what he is. He's just the big 6 cost. It's just like, that's what I said about him in Discord. I was like, to me, I'm just like poking him with a stick, like, do something fun. He's just a big stat stick. It's so fucking boring to me. Like, I get it. He's really good, but I didn't pick him up because I'd way rather have, like, I'll have US Agent. US Agent will suck, and I'll have him over thing. I don't want to be bored. I play games to have fun, not to fall asleep. I'm sorry. That's my opinion on Red Hulk. Drop mic, leave. Sorry. That's how I feel.
Totally fair.
It's the correct opinion. But continue.
All right,
Well,
Parry.
to piggyback off what Rhea is saying there, I had tweeted out that I think Red Hulk is the most skippable card this season, which of course on Twitter got it conflated with Red Hulk bad, which is what I never said Red Hulk is bad. I think he is skippable in the sense that the decks you're going to be putting him in will work perfectly fine without him and another big body instead, whether it's Blob, whether it's Infinite, whether it's Null, Dracula, Apocalypse, whatever it may be. Wherever you're sticking Red Hulk, chances are there's a card in your collection.
You don't want to know.
Oh my God.
Chances are there's a card in your collection that will do similar things to what he will do. Maybe at the highest levels of play, you will start to notice that difference in power, but I think his downside of knowing that your opponent has him is such a big downside. Like, I haven't played against him all that much yet. I really haven't played a lot this season just yet, but in the limited instances I've played against him, I'm not losing more than 1 cube when I see a Red Hulk. I either know that I'm going to Shang-Chi that son of a bitch, or I'm getting out of there for 1 cube because I know exactly how much power he has and whether or not I can beat that. And that is something that is not going to win you a lot of cubes. I like to try and win big cubes when I play Snap, and Red Hulk doesn't seem to do that.
So, Owl said this earlier today, and it was like, yeah, that's how I've been playing him. That's why he's in my Loki deck. The best thing you can do with Red Hulk when your opponent knows you have Red Hulk is play other cards on the last turn of the game.
Right.
Because they know exactly how big it is, and the only reason they're still there is they can beat that. But, like, figure out where they think you're doing that, and then it's very easy cubes. That's why I'm playing in Loki. I'm like, and then I played 17 cards. Thank you. Like, it's, yeah.
Yeah.
So
that I can see value in.
Yeah, it's the only way I'll play it, because I doubt I'm ever going to let that hit the board on purpose. But well, I need to get it to gold border, and then I will never let it hit the board on purpose. My theory on Red Hulk is they've been trying to make a balanced, giant, lane-winning 6-cost card for like 7 months now, and they keep fucking it up. And this is their latest time of fucking it up. They were like, we got it, Goliath. Fuck! And they're like, no. We nailed it. Blob. You know what?
Scar?
It's Scar. Oh God, let's not even talk about that one. And then Red Hulk. There we go. Oh God, they're already saying it's gonna get nerfed. What are we doing? Yeah, Glenn is like obsessed with finding the perfect 6-cost card and has failed yet again. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think it's worth the tokens right now compared to some other cards coming out. It's just stats. You have stats already in your deck. You really don't need extra stats.
I feel like he's the biggest stats right now, but he's gonna get nerfed. He's not gonna stay the way he is. No way.
I mean, so like the context thing is gonna matter in Conquest, right? The like I can mess with your head by playing this and not playing this at different times.
For sure.
I think makes him a really good Conquest and tournament card. So like that's where he's good, and in particular that kind of play is insane in Thanos, where you have 18 different things you can do in the last turn of the game. You're not like locked into one. Like if you expect a Red Hulk and get hit with a Magneto, you lost.
Yeah, for sure.
So like there's a lot of stuff like that that's going to be really, really, really good in Conquest and tournaments that I think is a real problem. But like that's also Second Dinner's problem, right? Because they literally like they have the perfect 6-class card. It's Magneto.
He is 100%.
But like they're just like, no, we must make the big lane winner. It's like you did. It's Magneto, and they don't get it. So here we are. Because I don't think Glenn designed Magneto.
So I think Red Hulk is an interesting lane killer in the sense that like the most likely play patterns like set him up for failure, right? Because usually, like if your opponent is skipping a lot of energy, they're frequently losing priority, and that sets up Red Hulk for death by Shang. And that I think is like super like an interesting sort of like built-in tension to the card. But I do agree that it's like probably too powerful. I think we could definitely see him going down to like a 10 or a 9 or an 8. And probably being fine at that point. I think if you make it so that the first tick doesn't make him over the top good, then he becomes a much more interesting card. Where it's like, oh, I know my opponent has a 6-12 now, which is what the Hulk is, right? The Hulk is 6-12? Or is he 6-10?
Mm-hmm. 6-12.
6-12. Mm-hmm. So he went from like a 6-8 to a 6-12. Okay, now I know I can't skip energy. I gotta find how to spend my energy every turn. And I know that. And if I do that, then my opponent's card is checked and not really, and pretty beatable. Like most decks could beat a 6-12. But some decks just like a single 6-15 can really be game ender, right? And so you don't feel quite as hopeless if you lower its power so that one tick is way, way less powerful. But I think that's sort of where I see this card going and where I see this card becoming an interesting, the design becomes much more interesting than where it currently is.
Do you think they ever change that ability that you can see? Like if he was to take that nerf you just suggested where you drop his base power down to 6-9, do you think they ever take away that ability where you see him powering up in the opponent's hand? Because I feel like that's his biggest downside.
No, I don't think
but it's too important. Like I think they thought made this okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely what they thought made it okay.
But it's too big. It's like, look, compared to like Agatha, you know what I mean? Like at 6-14, even Infinite, Red Hulk's too powerful compared to the other 6 like stats.
I think the card they were thinking of is actually Giganto.
Like, and he's way better than Giganto, and he doesn't have any drawbacks.
Absolutely.
He has no drawbacks, like all those other cards.
Sure he does. If your opponent, his drawback is twofold. If your opponent curves out perfectly, he's a 6-11, not a very good card. And the other drawback is if he's not a 6-11, you get to know. Whereas every other card, you don't for either of those cases. I'm not saying that's enough of a drawback, but it is a drawback.
But yeah, you'd still take that over like like a Giganto's location, which could just be, you know, like it's
Marvel Snap is not Magic. It's not a game about curving out. You actively don't want to curve out most games of Marvel Snap, which is what Red Hulk is teaching people.
That's what I'm saying.
I would have hoped we all knew, but apparently we did not.
In the little of Snap I've gotten to play so far this season, because I'm gonna play. I faced Red Hulk nonstop, and he's been big. He's been big every time, like, you know, because they're just, you know, you just often get little gaps in your, you know, like it's a turn 4 and you're playing a 3 cost, you know, and you didn't have a 1 in hand, like, and even just the 6/15, it's like he's already better than an Agatha. And look at what you sacrificed to play Agatha. You know, it's just like he's the best. He's the biggest 6, you know, for me right now, and that's why I think he'll definitely get nerfed, because it's just too easy to slot him into every deck. You know, I don't know. That's just what I think from single play.
He's 1,000% getting nerfed. Just, you know. All right, screw this card. Let's talk about things that are more interesting. We all good?
There we go.
But complaining about things is easy.
All right, well, let's talk about U.S. Agent Captain America at Home. He is a 2-cost, 3 strength, Series 5, 6K tokens. What do you get?
Time out. He's only Captain America at Home if your home is in Alabama.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anyway, your Series 5 card gets you a ongoing ability. 4, 5, and 6 cost cards here have -3 power. All right. Parry, what you got for us?
So I don't think this card should be a 6,000 token card. If this was a 3,000 token card, I would be much more excited about it. I think it's a unique ability in the sense that it works well against Hela as far as just knocking down some of her power. I think it has a more interesting use of being able to dodge Shang-Chi. I love the idea of kind of using it as an armor type play when you have priority. You know your big lane is about to get Shang-Chi'd. You drop that bad boy down and just dodge that punch. I think that is a cool use case for him. But I am not too... Outside of that, I don't see much use for him. Yeah, I really would like to get my hands on him and see how the Shang dodging works, but at that point, why don't you just play armor, you know? So, I don't know. I don't know what they're really going for with this card. Maybe I'm missing some synergies here, but what do you guys think?
Okay, I think wrong. Okay, that's what I thought initially at first, and that was all based on Man-Thing, to be honest. Like, right. Man-Thing is so awkward to play. I've tried numerous times in different ways, and Man-Thing's awkward. So I ranked him worst, and I think I was wrong. I think I was totally wrong. I think there's several things that make him really different from Man-Thing. Now that I think I dismissed him too early. So I've been as you've been talking, I've been like getting way too like pent up about this. So here's what I think. I think one, the cost difference is huge, right? Being a 2 as compared to a 4, right, for a final turn play is going to make a huge difference. Mm-hmm. And what his ability, and like what with a Sarah now, he's a 1. You could play him even with an Onslaught. Then no, you wouldn't want to, because he'd be a 6 cost. But here's the thing though. So Man-Thing is weird, because what I was trying to do with him is like throw him out kind of alone, you know, like, or maybe with a Miss Marvel. It's just like, what do you do with him? It's so awkward. But the reverse, you don't have that problem, right? Like a little flood deck, right? You're going to have a little ton, right? And you put it out where their big guy is, and you have all your little guys out there. It's like the opposite. The thing that's a problem for Man-Thing is a benefit for US Agent, because you build your deck. You're not like with Man-Thing, you're only gonna play out a couple big drops, you know, big costs, 5, 6ers. But with US Agent, you know, you got all kinds of little flood options you can play out there, you know, and throw down. And he's a handy little card to throw down. Like that's then a 2/6. That's maybe a 1/6 if you have Sarah. You know, if you're throwing it down where they got some big guys, and maybe he's even larger. So, like, I was wrong to rate him last. I'd like to personally apologize to US Agent for how really wrong, and for basing it on Man-Thing, which is an unfair comparison. Like, I should have not judged you by the failures of another card, US Agent. So I'm like staring at him
he's-
right now because we're looking at show notes, and so it's hard not to talk to him. But I know it sounds weird. I know it sounds weird. but
he's throwing things
Yeah,
at
look
you,
at it.
but it's fine.
He's literally doing this. Yes.
He's got some good homes the more I think about it. And like the Angela buff is such a good US agent buff.
Right? We were all
'Cause
wrong.
now, like-
He's great.
Because now, yeah. I didn't rank him last. I actually ranked Zemo last. I still think he's probably second worst card of the season, but that's just because I think this season is fantastic. He's really like it's very easy to make him a 2/9. And you always play a 2/9, right? Like it's just if you're making Angela like a 6 at that point, that's an 11 power lane on the back of these two cards. That's reasonable. And it should be easy to get Kitty and other shenanigans off. And just like so I think he's got a few homes. I think he's probably really good in zoo decks as like the card you play that at the end of the game that's not a 1. I think he's probably like just please don't play him on your blue Marvel, right? And you'll be fine. I think he's probably really or Khazar, whatever. He's probably really good in Sarah decks where like the Angela stuff is there anyway, and at the end of the game he's like a 1/6, a 1/9, which seems like good stats to me. He's really going to be great in Cerebro 3. Cerebro 3, he's a lane winner. When he naturally has 5 or 7 stats, that's just going to be silly, right?
You know
He's
who's
5
in
or
the
7 with
corner, like
-3.
crying right now? Captain America. U.S. agent's
don't
gonna
get
be
me
better than
started.
Captain America. I guarantee it.
That's not even difficult.
Don't get me started.
Okay, sorry.
And I want him to be good in bounce. I don't know if he is, but I don't play anything that costs more than 3 in bounce. So that means he's basically guaranteed to be like super good, right? Like what deck doesn't play high cost cards? That deck wants him, and none of those decks are meta. So like what you're playing against is a bunch of things that make him a 2/9 to a 2/12. So I think he's going to be good. Is he going to be like incredible and broken? Nah, probably not. I don't think he's like due for a nerf, but I think he's a card that like you're going to be like, well, that lane's locked up, and then your opponent's going to drop US Agent, and be like, oh, like remember when Shadow King didn't see a lot of play, and people would drop Shadow King on you, and you were like, oh shit, that's what US Agent's going to do.
Yeah.
Do you
And
find
can, like, with
yourself
Miss Marvel-
playing? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. I was just saying, and like with Miss Marvel and stuff, like is and like I'm sad that it's U.S. Agent that's going to be so fun. I'm going to play him all the time.
Yep.
Okay.
Agreed. Fuck that
That's
character.
all.
Go ahead, Parry.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, do you find yourself playing a lot of 4, 5s, and 6s in the same lane outside of Hela, though? Like,
So a lot, no, 2. Because
Yeah.
like 4, right? Like you'll play 2, and that's all it takes to make him a 2/9.
yeah, I suppose having the 2/9 value is there,
Right?
But if,
Like your
You'd have to
Dracula,
kind of drop him on the end.
end. Everyone be playing
your Dracula
Zabu.
goes into a lane alone, right? Like fine. Like again, in discard, your Dracula is going into a lane alone. But like your MODOK has to go somewhere.
yeah, I typically
Right.
wouldn't be playing my MODOK in the same
Yeah.
lane as Dracula,
Yeah.
though.
So okay, so against discard, which is like the worst matchup, right?
Well, sure.
Like, because they're running very few high cost things.
Right, you're just dealing with your Dracula, your MODOK, and
so
your...
what about a Thanos?
Proxima, who's randomly
Yeah.
in places.
Yeah,
that you
Proxima
may
will
not
be in the
want.
Dracula lane a bunch of times as well.
What? Let's say Thanos, right? Or here, let's go to like Destroy.
But like, this is a
Mediocre
card...
against Destroy.
I mean, this is a card you're not going to want to play on 2, I'm thinking, because
No, it's an
of
end
that
turn.
ability.
That's why Sarah and Bounce and
Yeah.
Zoo and stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
5-6 card, I guess.
You want to wait to see where they're playing their stuff, and then just be like, your stuff is significantly worse. The problem is if the big stuff in the game remains stupid big, like Red Hulk, this
Right.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter, right? Like -3 to like the 23 power Red Hulk or whatever math it goes to is stupid, right? Like that's obviously not important. But
Right.
like if the top end of the game is stuff that's like 10 power, then all of a sudden he's phenomenal. We don't know where that's going to be once Thanos stops being Thanos. But if like the idiots deck would hate this, right?
Oh, for sure.
It would just be like, I've got Cosmo, I'm safe with my wait, what? Did you just take 9 power off my lane?
Yeah.
You could do a Spectrum deck with like Luke, right? And then you could onslaught him.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
Well,
something.
now you're Yeah.
If you also have Magic, which is how I was last playing Spectrum to get the Wong out. Okay. So, just like
No, don't apologize. That's awesome.
I think we're gonna be
I
seeing a
just
lot of
like
Luke,
I
too.
really hate Red Hulk right now. I heard the nerf him. He's too big. It's ruining my fun. All right.
Play more Valkyrie.
One quick note before we move on. I think this card would have been really good when Darkhawk was busted, but I think now that he's not, there's a little bit few. The all 4-drops deck is like a little bit in the trash can. But if it ever comes back, this is the ultimate Zabu killer, I think, because it's a good escape valve for Zabu decks. All right, but let's talk about our next card, which is Red Guardian. All right, so Red Guardian is a 3/3. Ugh, 3/3. What could it possibly get you that makes a 3/3 playable? Well, your 6K tokens for the Series 5 card buys you an on reveal, afflict the lowest power enemy card here with -2 power and remove its text. Ree, what you got for us?
I like tech cards, so I like my frequent problem with deck building is I just want to play a bunch of like tech and counter cards, and then I have no power, no power. So like I like it because it's a tech card, and that's honestly why I like Surfer so much, because Surfer is just you just put a bunch of different tech cards in and then beat them up with Surfer, like so. So I like it. So I'm a fan, but it's like. Like this is what like how Silver Samurai for me like just discards all those Iron Men, just doing all that good work in the Arnhem Zolas. See, this is less good though because you're not gonna get rid of the Arnhem Zolas for me, right, guys? Sorry, I'm talking to him again because I'm looking at him. You're not gonna discard them. It gets rid of Iron Man. What else is it?
Well, unfortunately, it is the Dracula killer.
Oh, the Dracula killers. Right,
Dracula, Morbius
on curve. Yeah, Morbius on curve, yeah. Mobius, Angela.
Yeah, Mobius, Angela, Zabu, Ravona.
All he needs is a beautiful, beautiful variant, and then I'm just going on my Surfer decks because I just want all the tech for all my Surfer. I just love stopping what opponents are doing almost more sometimes than I love pulling off my own shit. This
one has
fun.
A strangely big head.
Right? I don't know.
Like his head is huge.
What's wrong with a big head?
So awkward. He looks like he has back pain.
Maybe.
He's giving me back pain looking at him, to be honest.
Yeah, he's trying to do the superhero landing, but he's failing.
So we just need a really good variant for him, and then, it'll be good.
I'm looking forward to him, despite knowing what he's going to do to my precious Dracula. I think he has a lot of flexibility. I think being able to play him, like just the fact that you can remove text from a card can go such a long way. Like you said, Angela getting wiped out, Bishop, Zabu, Ravona, Mobius. There are so many of those low power cards with those game-breaking abilities. Even like taking out a Sunspot or a Nebula, like that's still just value. Not having to worry about that for the rest of the game. And oftentimes he's going to just win you a game. The 3 cost does make it a bit awkward, and that 3 power, that's going to come with a big sacrifice. But I think you're going to see him teched into a lot of decks, depending on what the meta is.
I don't have a lot to say. I think like he's obviously a good card when the meta says he's a good card. Like he's Shadow King, right? Like he'll just disappear when he's not amazing. And then like once in a while the meta will be like, oh, we're doing this thing, and you'll be like, oh my god, Red Guardian is sitting in my collection. I mean, if you're a whale and have Red Guardian. And he'll be okay in Surfer. I don't think he goes in the current Surfer builds especially. And he doesn't stop Cosmo, which is the only thing the current Surfer builds really give a shit about. So like, I don't know. I think he's generally speaking a pretty damn good card.
I think taking out a Luke Cage is nice too.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you gotta be able to get a Luke though. Luke is hard to hit.
I think that this card can end up being more. It could be the most ubiquitous card of all of these, because I think Red Guardian is like fixed rogue, because it's really good against ongoing decks. Like it's good against Tribunal. It's good against sort of Mr. Negatives that are trying to do stupid shit with Mystique and Iron Man. Like, but it's also not
as good with. Wait, It's not as good as you think, because if the Iron Man has 5 power, you're not hitting it.
That's fair. That is very fair. Although sometimes, if the Iron Man has 5 power,
Yeah.
it is the lowest cost sometimes. It's lowest strength sometimes, but you're right. But I think it is good against ongoing decks, I think is a fair thing to say. But it's not a dead card against non-ongoing decks. Because sometimes just on 3, knowing if you know what your opponent is playing, you just play this as a 3/5, right? Which is what it is, right? And might take off some incidental text from a Black Knight or something like that. That is turning Black Knight into a 1/0 blank is totally awesome, right? So I think there's enough utility here that Red Guardian could end up being actually pretty ubiquitous because it solves enough problems without being unplayable. Unlike Rogue and Enchantress, which just feel really dead, this has a lot of additional utility as an answer card that neither of them do. So I definitely could see this being more of a Mobius than a Rogue or Enchantress.
Cool. Well said.
All right.
I agree.
The card
we got to do two slides in a row, so I have the.
But I'm just going to say that this is the card I'm most excited about. So we got White Widow. She's a Series 5 6K token 2/2. Okay, we're cooking. Terrible art. All right. On reveal, add a Widow's Kiss to your opponent's side of this location. Well, what's a Widow's Kiss? It is a 0/0 token from White Widow. Ongoing, this has -4 power. Disable if your side of this location is full. The your in this refers to your opponent, correct?
Yes.
So just to be clear, so if your opponent fills up this location...
That was a big fight, too.
Your opponent fills the location, they now have a 0/0 rather than a 0 -4. Parry, what do you think of Widow's Kiss and a White Widow herself?
Well, Black Widow is one of my least favorite cards in the game. I hate playing against a Black Widow. Whenever I see that damn Widow's Bite enter my hand, I'm just
Get
filled
off the
with
podcast.
rage.
You're done. You're fired. I'm out. Where the fuck is Obi?
Streaming, actually.
Fair.
But I think this is going to be a very good, annoying card. This is not typically the type of decks I play. I'm not one to play too much Clog, and I think you're going to be seeing that make a bit of a resurgence. It seems like it would be a natural fit in the Annihilus style lists. It would curve out nicely with a Hood on 1, a White Widow on 2, whatever else you do on 3 with those decks, Sentry on 4, and so on. So I think it has a natural home to clog up there. Debris, there you go. Debris, Goblin, whatever it might be. The downside, even if it is disabled, a 0/0 on your board is still not great. So I think it's getting a lot of value. The fact that it can be a -4 is devastating. That's going to be a condition that you can hit pretty often, I would say, especially in the decks you're going to be playing her. I think it's going to be a very good card, very annoying card that people are going to complain about. Bree?
So I would say this was my ranked number 1 card. I mean, partially because I think she'll be good, and partially because I'm most excited for her, so that's what matters to me most. Not whether it's the meta best. Because for one, what you said, because my hipster nature made me like Junk a lot less when Annihilus made it popular. Once everyone was doing it, it was less fun for me. So, but like a year ago, when Junk was only like BC tier and no one was playing it, I loved Junk. I like Viper, like when you were just Goblin Titaniaing people, you're taking that gamble. You're taking that gamble. And that's one reason I love it, because this is a green goblin filling in that location, but without the downside if you miss, right? If you miss with a green goblin, you're at -3. But here you got 2 power, so you're doing all right. But I like plus, okay, and beyond. So that's my initial thought is like, yes, green. I'm green goblin some people, and it's not even going to be risky for me. I love it. And then two, the second, since we already kind of covered that, and it seems like, the ready attack is the, one, it's a prio tool, right? So like, it's going to take them some time to fill that location if you play it early. So it's a good way to get Prio if you're in a deck that wants that. Also, right, you kind of got some Nebula going on there where you know maybe they're going to play there, so you maybe put in a Guardians deck, where you're, they're going to try and fill it up probably unless they're going to ignore the whole location. So I think there's a lot of different little uses for this, which means it's a card I love because, like, that's why Nico's my favorite. She's just a little toolbox of 7 tools that I can pull out one at a time without getting to decide the order. But and this feels like it has kind of some different utilities like that, and that's what I like in a card. So I'm super hyped for White Widow. Yelena, she's cool.
So, Cannonball's best friend? Yeah, I'm there. Like, Cannonball reads, unless there is an armor, the opponent gets a -4 there, right? Like, I am so ready for this. Or, like, the Titania Goblin thing, it's not even a risk, right? Like, as long as they don't fill it on turn 4, they're at least getting a Goblin, and you're keeping your Titania.
True.
Like, there's just... I'll take it. Like, then they still get a -3 there, not a -4, but they're basically, you won a location on turn 4. Like, this is like 10,000% getting nerfed into oblivion. Because I can bounce this, and that seems like a really, really stupid thing. Right? Like, the second I play Beast on this, it's over. I mean...
People are going to tilt so hard.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, Glazer. I wasn't even thinking about bounce.
This card is completely disgusting.
I mean, that's why Black Widow got nerfed.
You could Grandmaster.
You can Grandmaster. You can Absorbing Man it.
Oh, think of the troll decks.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You can,
what have you done?
So, this is going to be really fun for, like, 2 days. And then everyone's going to realize what it is. And the meta is going to be just like, uh-oh.
Luke is going to be running rampant this
It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
Oh, man.
It literally could not matter less. If I've got 3 0/0s taking up spots on your board, and I've got 4 spots to play with, and you've got 3 in each location...
Pardon me. Destroy is going to be running rampant
there you
this
go.
season.
That's what you got. Armor?
You're right.
Armor.
Destroy wins all the fun.
Yeah. I think that might be why they didn't actually nerf Destroy, to be honest. But I still think this has to be nerfed. I don't know how you... Like, this is going to get the same nerf Black Widow did. It's just going to be a 3/3.
I could say
and, like, that should bring it in line, more or less. It's 2. That's insane.
This is going to be my Galactus. I'm going to go full-on villainous mode when this card comes out. I might get Grandmaster for it. I'm going to be busting these out.
You're inching up to that already.
I'm going to get that Ryan Gonzalez Eliath variant, that cutesy little purple rainbow cloud, and I'm going to fill up their board with -4s and then Eliath. I'm going to tilt so hard. It's going to be my evil heir. I'm looking forward
her
to
villain
it.
arc.
I'm gonna like do the little like No More Mr. Nice Guy song, tap dance to it when White Widow comes out. It's gonna be great. All right, sorry. Just
no worries.
I'm hyped.
So let's move on to our last card here. Valentina, right? That's how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. She's a 2/3, Series 5, 6K tokens. On reveal, add a random 6-cost card to your hand, give it -2 cost, and -3 power. Parry, what you got for us?
So I like this. I'm a big fan of cost reduction and randomness. I like the gambler, the gambling. I like the randomness of discard, of course. So I think there's going to be some cheeky things you could do with this here. Again, I do think you're going to see a lot of Luke Cage in this season, so having that -3 power isn't going to affect you all that much. That -2 cost can be pretty crazy. There's obviously going to be a lot of bad draws. You're going to get your Destroyers, you're going to get your Gigantos that you can't play in the left lane, or anywhere except the left lane. But there are just so many good 6-drops. Just imagining that 4-cost Magneto, Doctor Doom, the surprise Galactus popping down on turn 4. I'm really excited for this one. I think this is probably, with Red Guardian, my most anticipated card of the season. I don't know how great she's going to be competitively, but I'm all about those fun, wacky builds, so I'm looking forward to this one.
I'm only all about that base.
Nice.
Yeah, so like I really love the shield cards. Like they're really fun for me, and I want to be more excited for it because I would like her, but one, it's like I've gotten so many random Agathas. Like I know they're just waiting for me, just out in the void. Just a whole line of them, just Agathas waiting to drop right into my hand. I know it's gonna happen to me. And then the other part is like I think this is the card everybody else is a lot of people. I mean, some people it's White Widow, but I think a lot of people it's this card. And so it's like the same problem that we always have, where it's hard to have fun with the new card because you're just playing mirrors. You're just playing mirrors all week, and it sucks, and it's no fun. And it's like, since this is the card everyone's most excited for, there's going to be even more. It's all mirrors, and like it's like I'm excited for it, but I'm excited for like 3 weeks from now or whatever, like when I don't have to just play Valentina mirrors. It's just a problem for me with every card. Mirrors, like if we're all hipsters, we just don't want to be playing what everyone else is playing. And nobody likes just playing mirrors. It's like, is there a way to fix that? That's what Valentina makes me think of, honestly.
At least
Those
they're
are
going
my
to be
thoughts
random,
on
though. There will be a lot of mirrors, but at least the cards that are going to be played are going to be randomly chosen.
Well, the real problem is it means Loki mirrors, right? Like, because this is the Lokiest card that's Loki in months.
Yeah, it's definitely a Loki card. I don't like to think that way, but it is.
So I don't care. I want to play this. I think this is going to be stupid fun. Even if it gets me an Agatha, my deck is Agatha's auto playing herself on turn 4. Yeah, if I have Quinjet, Agatha's auto playing herself immediately. So let's go.
314,
right?
Well, 311.
Yeah. Okay. 311, and then I'm playing Luke.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm actually bothering with Luke. I haven't actually decided yet. I don't know if Luke is right or not.
Probably not, but I'm just imagining he's going to be teched into a lot of decks in the future, especially with Toxic
the Widow,
Surfer and the Widow and all sorts of things. So
it's back to Luke meta. Whatever. She's going to be super fun. I don't really care. Like, what she says is, please never play Mirage again. Like, that's what her printing is.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, that's sad because Mirage has such good variants.
She really does.
She does.
I don't like the
character
Valkyrie Mirage variants.
And then Valentina.
Valentina's a terrible character. Neither one is as cool as Cable, though.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes, son.
Oh my god, Cable. Cable cool. So very 1990s here.
Yes.
I'm edgy. All right, we're ready to finish up?
Yeah, we're ready to finish up here. All right.
Let's skip this one and keep going.
All right, let's get here. We're going to our final... Do you want to do this, Glazer?
Just rate it. Give me a rating.
All right, give us a rating. Ree, let's start with you. What is your rating on the American grading scale A to F?
Oh, for this new season? I mean, I'm going to give it an A because, beyond Red Hulk, I think all the cards sound fun to me. And I just still always have a million. There's still, a lot of decks I want to build and play and cards I haven't played with a lot. I'm not bored of Snap at all, to be honest. So,
awesome.
I'm pretty hyped regardless. Even if my only sadness is that I just definitely can't get all the new cards. Can't get them all. That's sad. But other than that, I still, like I said, I'll dig into my collection. Not bored of it.
And I would probably give this, if we're able to do pluses and minuses, I'd probably give this a B- this season. If not, I'll settle in at a B. But I
give it a B-. There's no judge here. We're fine. If you said I gave it a Z, we'd be like, all right, he fucking gave it a Z. What are you gonna do?
Right. Well, I'm not going to go that crazy, but I think B- is fine, mostly because there's no discard cards, but that's okay. I just feasted with Corvus and Proxima and Meek recently, so I'm good with that. I think there's a few cards to be excited for. Nothing that seems like it'll break the game open. I am worried about what White Widow is going to do that week. Maybe I'll be playing some other games, but yeah, I think there's some good cards to be looking forward to. I think future seasons might be a bit more exciting, but solid B- for the Thunderbolts season from me.
Awesome.
Wait, this is so random, but I forgot. While I had Parry, I have to add, I know I already brought this. Did you get your Captain America hat from ThinkGeek before it shut down?
I think I did, actually. I don't remember if it was 100% from Think Geek, but
I think
that
that's
sounds
the only
right.
place that was selling it, right? Maybe. Anyway, sorry. We both have the same, like, floppy, like, Captain America, and it's this old nerd store that used to be one of the few places you could get, like, nerd t-shirts and stuff online. But when
I thought I had it nearby, but it's not around me.
And sorry, I was just like, I noticed that he had
It's
worn
okay.
it in a picture.
No one can see.
And I had to ask him when I had the chance. Sorry, that
okay. No one can see you.
It probably should have been off podcast. My apologies.
Don't apologize. It's an excellent anecdote. All right, Glazer.
Wait, can I give it a B?
Yeah.
I want to give it a B. I'm borderline B+. So if Red Hulk wasn't so stupid, I'd be higher. I really like the cards this season. We'll talk about this more next week when it's actually, we know what the hell it is, but they're doing a new game mode thing, like a mini. It's going to be stupid and I'm going to hate it. It is. They're like, because you can buy your way to winning it.
The leagues thing, yeah.
Yeah, the leagues thing. You can buy your way to winning it. So
I hope they make some changes before that finally launches, or after playtesting they realize.
So apparently all the other games that do this just do the buy to win thing. So like I don't care. So like that's going to be stupid, but I don't care. There's enough things in this game that I just totally ignore that I don't super duper care. I'm going to keep enjoying playing my silly fun decks. I'm going to keep winning with my silly fun decks. And I think that these are new cards that I'm going to enjoy playing in those, except for Red Hulk. And I hope not White Widow, but I'm worried that White Widow too.
I'm so glad we got to hate on Red Hulk together. That was fun. I thought I would be the lone, like, Red Hulk naysayer.
Nope.
Okay.
No, not even
That
close.
was fun. That was a good time we all had ragging on Red Hulk. I'm
going to say that this season is cooked, not cooking. So we will move on to our final
segment. It's not
segment.
a number. Jeez, Roy. Can't even follow the rules of your own podcast.
I can do what I want because I'm the one talking. All right. So, we are on to a segment that we have each and every week, the variant of the week. We'll start to the one that's here on my left, which is kind of the sort of very stylized Sabretooth. Who picked this one?
The Noir?
The Noir? Is that Noir?
That's the Noir.
That's Noir. But that's and me.
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
All right.
Because we have
I didn't know that existed. Yeah, we really do. I didn't know that existed, and I opened it and was like, oh my god, do I have to figure out how to play Sabretooth? And no, because Destroy is boring. But, like, damn, is that variant good. Re?
No, yeah, like, when Glazer asked me, like, what's your favorite Sabretooth variant? I'm like, well, off the top of my head, Noir. He's like, okay, would you like to double check? I looked at him. Yes, definitely Noir. I love the Noir variants. Like, I like to admit, like, a trench coat and a fedora. Not like a fedora now when, like, it's the meme, you know?
Hipstery?
Like, yeah, when the fedora is
wrong
that
kind
thing.
of hipster.
But, like, think, right? Like, in it, it's, you know, it's black and white. Blinds are creating stripes across your face. Like, the proper atmosphere for fedora. A fedora is great. And a trench coat. And it's like, I love to imagine that in a different multiverse, there's a version of me, of Ree, who is a noir detective in a glorious trench coat and fedora, looking like Renee Montoya the Question, you know, just standing out in the dark city, brooding. Like, and I love the noir variants. And this in Sabretooth, the noir variant is just clearly the best. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. Sorry to monologue.
No worries. That's the whole point of this podcast is monologuing. Let me tell you, Ray. There's lots of monologuing that goes on the show.
He's genuinely just taking shots at me openly at this point.
I monologue too. I'm notorious for monologuing in real life and on podcasts. Parry, which of these remaining two did you pick?
I picked the middle one, which is the Ryan Stegman variant. I'm a fan of his. I have his Venom with a nice God split, and I'm a big fan of this one as well, because it is just kaiju looking, like he's standing over the ocean. I dig the design. I like the furry kind of coat that he's got going around with the neck there and such. Just a boss-looking variant that has some good animation. It's a shame he doesn't see much more play.
So I'm the one who picked the one on the far right. I just think it's a very like striking, powerful cover image that I imagine when it is fully animated is like has a strong sort of angry pop to it. And I mean, I've never thought, I don't even know if I have a single Sabretooth variant. I have literally never thought about this card in the entire time that I played Marvel Snap. But when Glazer was like, pick a Sabretooth variant, I was like, first I thought there's Sabretooth as a card. And then two, I was like, wait, Sabretooth has variants? And
A lot of good ones too.
this is I mean, he's a notoriously popular character with a really
Not
shitty
anymore.
card.
It's not 1994.
1999. He used to be. He was. There's enough old heads like you and me, Glazer, who remember him in his peak 90s edgelord days. And he was a villain in the original X-Men movie. So we got that.
A villain. Not the
Liev
villain.
Schreiber.
It's true. All right. We will move into our final segment as we begin wrapping up the show. All right, Parry Manilow. If you want to remind our loyal listeners, loyal viewers, what they would find if they went out and enjoyed your content and where they can find it.
For sure. Most of you will probably know me from Marvel Snap Bingo. It is a game I host every Monday night at twitch.tv/ParryManilow. Just a little something I like to do with the community to be a little more engaging, get them participating and having some fun. I do giveaways as prizes to the winners. It's a good time. Come out Monday nights. Otherwise, I'll be doing some sort of Discard streaming. I like to play a lot of Conquest. I'm on YouTube. Mostly Twitter and Twitch. I'm trying to get back on my YouTube grind. It's hard. I'm sure Glazer can relate to that.
What's a YouTube?
Yeah. But that's pretty much it. Twitter, Twitch, soon to be on YouTube, and a little stuff on TikTok as well.
So I love Parry streams. Like, genuinely love Parry streams. The decks are always interesting. So I made fun of Parry for being a discard player. But you know that discard deck that does the Dakin bullshit with Zola? That's the kind of discard. Right? Like, it's not it's not the normal stuff. It's genuinely a joy. When I think of Parry, what I think of first is Staten Island, which is terrible. But then I think of creativity. Because he's one of the most creative creators in all of Marvel Snap. And if you're sick of the same old content, you need to go check out Parry. Like, 1,000% check out Bingo, because Bingo is a blast. I'm not allowed to spend a night doing Bingo because I do other videos on Tuesday, and so I have to spend time with my wife on Monday. But I lurk like a motherfucker, and she can't stop me. I love your stream. It's an awesome time.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, Ree, your turn. If our loyal listeners and loyal viewers were to become your loyal listeners and loyal viewers, what would they find on your channel and with your content?
So yeah, same find me. It's _just_Ree. Ree is spelled RIE. It's always fun to hear people pronounce my name for the first time. I get a lot of Ries and Rays, but it's Ree. And I won't lie. I mean, so like definitely should go to Parry stream. I frequently refer to my stream as slovenly and low rent because it has not improved much since I've started it. But it's just kind of
wait, time out. Friends, if you watch the Snap Judgment YouTube videos, you are used to that feeling.
It's very true.
It's kind of just a clubhouse, though. Like, people come by, some people stop by and they just become instant cast members, and we just meme around and have fun. We get some in-joke. I try to explain more of the in-jokes as we go so we can be more friendly to new people, because we very quickly get very cliquish. And, but like, you know, it's a good time if you, can't sleep at nights, I guess. I usually stream like around 9 or 10 or random times in the day. I'm not like a great streamer, to be honest. It's not
You're so full of shit. All right. Are your eyes brown? I can't actually tell. Okay. Ready? So I have a nice simple rule for Marvel Snap. If Lauren Whatevs likes you, I automatically like you.
Very fair.
Lauren kept being like, Ree. And I was like, can't be that great. Oops, was wrong. So let's start with all the lies she just told. Her stream is great. Like, it's genuinely a blast. She has a super amount of fun. Yes, she does sometimes forget to play Marvel Snap, but it is always really entertaining. And then you forget that you're not watching Marvel Snap because you get involved in whatever the hell she's talking about, and it's a blast. 2, when she is playing Marvel Snap, she is not actually anything close to bad. She's really, really good at Marvel Snap. Like, it's completely ridiculous that she thinks she's bad sometimes. She'll like, I am an idiot. And I'm like, what the fuck? You read that board right. You made the right play. The opponent did something weird. Like, you didn't do anything wrong. It's Marvel Snap. That shit happens. when I said earlier it's my favorite stream right now, it is my favorite stream right now. Unfortunately, as a teacher, I get to stop in for all of like 20 minutes a night because it is very late. But it is genuinely an absolute joy to be a part of. I cannot recommend it more highly.
Hear, hear.
Well, shucks.
Awesome. All right. Well,
jeez.
No, we get to do my favorite segment. All right, Glazer, bring some joy into all of our lives.
Certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with on-air thanks. If you'd like to be a part of that, check out patreon.com/snapjudgments. We've got Abigail Giesler, Mandatory Burnout, Cables, David G. Wingfield, Direwolf, LAB, Father Newman, Good Dog Gamer, Inc., Jane Every, Jane Nino, Caretix, Caretix Lee, Koiray, KCH, Doku, Philip Brakovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins, Rob Silverman, Juan Diego Lebed, The Bizza, X-Force V, Skippy G, Tommy Nyquist, Black Dahlia, The Great Kazoo, Jessica Gamble, Ryan Wood, Models, Louis Antunes, Matt H, Mikey Hijinks, No Flex, Ocularis, Craig Sterry, Pretty Chill, Seamus, Spike Jones, Two Ties, The Pirate King himself, Tucker, The Homie Min, and of course Gunny T, where the T stands for ruined one episode by not having his audio work.
Wow, just
Damn, I never knew
totally
what T stood for.
spilling all of the tea
It's
about
literally
Gunny
just for
T
him.
there.
Ooh, a nice one.
All right, friends, there we go. We are bringing this episode to a close. Parry, thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode. You were a great guest, and you are always welcome back.
For sure, I'll take you up on that.
Awesome. Same is true for you, Ree. You were an excellent guest, and we greatly appreciate you taking the time to join us this evening.
Thanks for having me.
All right, friends. That brings us to the end of another episode of All New Snap Judgments. Aaron, my friend, I am glad that we are doing this each and every week together.
Peace and love, everybody.
All right, friends. Stay safe, make good choices, and keep on Snap Being.